Hi, this is KP with Coronavirus Diaries, a channel dedicated to the documentation of a world under lockdown. And today I'm going to do something a little different. Normally I have this a little more set up, maybe scripted, bullet points, an outline at least, but today I'm just going to wing it. So this is what I want to talk about. We've got some stories that have been in the news. I've actually talked about this before, about whether or not Sars-Cov-2 is getting weaker. And I did a video on this talking about how it did mutate back in February, and the virus as it was found in China was deadlier but less contagious, and the one in Europe and in America now is the one that is more contagious but less deadly. Still deadly though to people with underlying conditions and the elderly, of course. So what's going on with these news stories? Let's talk about that for a sec. We've got various news stories. This one's actually from early May. I want to kind of look at how we were looking at this in early May first, and how we had various reports of how mutations in the coronavirus could make it weaker. And we saw this study from Arizona. I reported on it in an earlier video, where they found a mutation that mirrored the SARS virus back in 2003 when it was dying off, because SARS eventually just disappeared on its own due to mutation and due to the weakening of the virus itself. And there are various stories that came out around this time, this one's from May 6th here, that are talking about mutations weakening the virus. And now this is Virology 101, and will mutations soon make the coronavirus less harmful? There were various Italian doctors that came out that said that this is weakening, but that it's still a killer virus, but they did talk about how it is weakening. And this is where I believe they started talking about how they're finding patients that have a less viral dose within them. Right? So keep that in mind as we keep going through here. So now they're starting to question, is it really getting weaker? And now we're getting into June, and you'll see that you're going to see more and more stories that are asking, is it actually weakening or not? And after reading all of this stuff and checking out this study that they did, what I have found kind of is summed up in this Healthline article here, where it says that yes, they are finding more patients that have a less serious version of the disease. They are finding more mild symptoms in people, but they're finding also that the reason that viral dose is less in those people is not because of a mutation. It's not because coronavirus itself got weaker. It's because of the steps we have taken as a planet to socially distance, to wear masks, to be smart about this and quarantine. And because of that, we're finding lower viral doses in people. So rather than creating this false sense of security that the virus is getting weaker, therefore we don't have to socially distance, therefore we can gather in groups and we don't have to wear masks, the fact of the matter is that those steps are actually the reason we're finding all of this evidence that's showing it to be weaker. It's not because it's actually weaker, it's just that we're not spreading it as effectively as the virus would probably like, because we're taking measures to counter that. So I hope this helps out. I mean, the virus is mutating, of course. All viruses mutate, but not in a way that has made it less lethal or more lethal or less contagious or more contagious. At least not since February that I know of. I have not seen any reports that say that there has been an actual mutation that really matters. All of the stuff that I've read so far says that although they are seeing some mutation, it's mutation that's inconsequential to whether or not it will become more or less contagious or more or less deadly. The fact of the matter is that we have taken steps to lessen that spread to other people. People are getting a smaller viral dosage of the virus, and therefore they are finding milder symptoms in more and more patients. You also have to keep in mind that testing is better now. It's being utilized. It's more widespread. They found some faulty tests in the past that they've fixed those mistakes, especially in South Korea. They came out and said that there were many false positives. So you have to remember that, as we keep getting more and more knowledge of this, as we keep testing people, we're going to obviously see more mild cases because they're going to be asymptomatic. So there's going to be people that just think they have the sniffles, but as we keep testing, we're going to find more mild patients. We're going to find the serious ones, and it makes sense that a lot of the serious stuff would have happened at the beginning of all this before we knew what to do. And now that we are, a lot of us are practicing some of these steps and keeping our hands washed and whatnot, it's helping. It's taking care of the issue as best we can right now until we have better treatment and hopefully a vaccine or cure. Anyway, stay safe out there. God bless. This is KP signing off.